Uh, okay. Did it start streaming again? There it goes. All right. Okay, it seems to actually be streaming now. All right, hopefully Silver Dragon will find his way back here. Seems like YouTube messed up. And it's private. Public. Alright. YouTube is being a pain. But it looks like I've got it fixed. I think. I think it's fixed. Yeah. YouTube's being a pain in the butt. I think it's fixed now, though. Twitch seems to be working as well. This is good. Alright. So, basically, my problem is, all that mining earlier today, I'm out of iron. That is all the iron I have. And I'm nowhere near done with doing the stuff for the next video. So, apparently I have wolves to kill too. Dead wolves are good wolves. Oh, shit. I'll have to repair that damage I just did. Don't want to lose my back end. Which looks like I almost did. Huh, good, they dropped the parts I need to fix it. More magnesium, I'll take it. What block is over here? Okay, cool. Need to make sure everything is welded up though, because I really hate to have my rover fall apart. Alright, I'll just run back and kill myself running into things. Alright, so yeah, I need a lot more iron, because apparently 10,000 iron ingots wasn't enough. Which shouldn't surprise me, because I had to burn a lot of them just in iron blocks, light armor blocks. So I figured I would stream again and see if anybody joined me. Looks like Silver Dragon is the only one here right now, though. Oh, hey Roy. Looks like maybe Silver Dragon's gone now. It's saying I only have one viewer, so that must be you. This is just I need to do some mining, and was hoping people would join me and keep me company while I do boring, busy work.
Inventory full.
So what are you up to today, Roy? Hope you're having a good day. Well, I think of it like a more technical version of Minecraft. I really enjoy playing it myself. It's a lot of the same principles. You need to mine, you need to build, but it also has a lot of engineering aspects to it, as well as a completely open, fully loaded solar system full of planets. So you can actually travel to other planets, build the ships you're going to take, and set up bases in the middle of deep space if you want. You can actually build ships to do exactly what I'm doing right now, but I don't have the resources to build those ships yet. Sadly. So if you like survival games and open sandbox games, I think you'll really enjoy it. That's my personal opinion, though. And if you like to mod the crap out of your games, there's actually a very active, very large modding community out there. Makes some really cool stuff. Out of curiosity, are you looking for a PC game or a console game?
Inventory full.
Alright, personally, I prefer it on PC, but I've heard that the gameplay on the consoles is just as good too, so I was just curious. There's a lot of mods out there that actually give you more. The vanilla game doesn't have a whole lot of NPCs and things to interact with. It's really just a sandbox for you to build what you want to build. It does have some NPC ships, the space pirates, and it has the wolves,
Inventory full.
but it does not have much beyond that. However, the modding community has added quite a bit. Oh, then you're gonna love this game if you're let me just say, most of the players of this game are not the young type, not myself included. I am 40. I'm going to be 44 years old here in a little over a month. And I need to keep checking the date every time I say my age because it's not something I think about very much. So are you the technical minded type or are you more the artistic type, Roy? That is to say, are you more interested in building something that will function really well or something that'll look cool? Oh, then you'll love this. It's got a lot of engineering and a lot of things to think about.
Inventory full.
There, you have to, well, you can take into account the strength of your rotors, the strength of your pistons, the speed that they're traveling, how much your ships weigh, and how much your cargo weighs, to basically just to get engineering problems solved. And there's a lot of mechanical things, struggles that you have to work through. There's a YouTube content creator out there who's been playing Space Engineers for a long time and making mods for it. He's currently doing a survival series in a mod pack that he put together with some custom mods that he made, where he's
Inventory full.
where it's all scrapyard. He can't build hardly anything. He's got to salvage everything. And the problems that causes, the struggles that causes, are part of what keeps it interesting. Because you got to find your way around those problems. A lot of problem solving in the game.
Inventory full.
And I might be in trouble here. I might have actually bitten off more than I can actually fit into the cargo on my rover here. Yeah, you start off with a drop pod and basic tools. Yeah, you start off with a drop pod and basic tools, drop down to the planet, and you go from there. In the playthrough I was just telling you about by Splitsy, he actually has you start in a rover, which is good because it would be impossible to survive in his scenario without starting off with a rover. But in the base game, you start off with a drop pod. You can drop onto Earth-like planet, which is where I'm at. It's a more survivable, easy start. Or you can start off on one of the other planets or the Earth-like moon, or you can start off in space. A lot of challenges. Got a red sunset today. I am not outside to enjoy it, but I'm sure it's beautiful. My girlfriend just told me the sunset's pink. Yes, it is. I really enjoy it. Um, Florida. Florida's a nice place to be right now. And I need to drop down my rear wheels. Really got to fix that hook up there. That's something I'm going to be doing later on in the video that I'm working on. And where's the height offset right there? Now I can hook it up. Okay. Large cargo. To this game, yeah, there is. There is a lot to it. Right now I'm looking at the inventory screen. And on the left, you can look at your character inventory, or you can look at the full grid. On the right, it's kind of the same thing. This will show all types of parts. This will filter by energy inventories, which I don't have any of those, but that would be like your reactors. You can just see how much fuel they have. This is only this grid, the grid you're accessing. This one is filtered by storage inventory, so you can only look at things that are storage. You won't see the things like, you shouldn't see your O2 generator in here. And you shouldn't see your reactors. System inventories, that's going to be like your assembler, your O2 generator, and your refinery. You can also hit hide empty, which will just hide empty inventories. A lot to it. I didn't, let's see, I need the refinery. Pull this over here too. Alright, now I'm going to undock. And I need to raise my rear wheels back up. But yeah, there's a lot of things you can change. I probably should have taken a moment on that. Rear wheels, I've grouped these. And once you group things, you can actually hide them in here. But here's the controls on the wheels. You can set whether or not the wheels are steering wheels, whether or not they can do propulsion, whether or not they can brake. You can set whether or not they have shocks. You can invert the steering or invert the propulsion. You can actually control the steering angle, how much they're allowed to steer. And power is how powerful the wheels are, how much force you can actually push with. There's a lot of things in here you can actually tinker and tweak in here. The game is designed so you've got a physics engine built into the game, which is not too bad of a physics engine. And you can tweak every aspect of how your creations interact with that physics engine. Really nice. So yeah, this rover that I'm driving, it's actually the beginner drop pod, with a cockpit and wheels added to it. It's not had many changes done to it. Do you mean Restream? I'm not sure what you mean by you use stream. Or do you mean Steam? Yes, I use Steam. I haven't shared my Steam username. I can relate to that problem. Why I'm not a writer. Spelling is... I know how to spell, but sometimes I forget how to spell when I'm typing. No, I haven't shared my Steam username, but I think it's just the Jago Dragon or Jago Dragon. I'd have to look. Yeah, it's just Jago Dragon. Nothing fancy about it. Nothing special.
Inventory full.
I'm not really accepting friends requests though, but you can see some of my stuff on the workshop. Not that they're anything all that special, but there's a couple of good things on there. Well, it's on Steam. And it actually allows you to play with your friends. If you have any that play this game, this sort of game. Which is kind of nice because you can actually set up a server and you can look at your friends list and you can invite them to join you in the game you're playing. Or you guys can spin up a server together. Me and my friends are actually streaming on Sundays, doing a modified, well, a heavily modified playthrough using the Industrial Overhaul mods, as well as some encounter mods, and taking away the jetpack.
Inventory full.
A lot of fun. Makes it a lot more fun when you're playing with friends. Not that you can't play it by yourself. I play this game alone all the time. I enjoy it. I play it alone more than I play with anybody else. Yes, I am back. I have more mining to do. All that mining this morning was not nearly enough. I needed about 3 times the iron just to get done with the episode I'm editing now. So, there will be spoilers for the next survival guide series in this live stream. If you don't want to see them, I'm sorry. But apparently I needed about 30 to 40,000 iron ingots, and I only had 10. I don't mind the grind of hand mining, but there comes a time when you're looking for more resources than you can feasibly hand grind.
Full.
And at that point, it's nice to have a little bit better mining setup. So yeah, I'm actually looking forward to getting a miner set up. I would love to have a nice vertical miner where I can just go out and drill down. But we're not there yet.
Inventory full. Inventory full.
Yes, it does. I don't normally prioritize the auto miners um, until after I have the ability to fly around and scout out where the iron deposit and the cobalt and silver are located at. And then I will set up auto mines at those locations and or processing there, and I'll set up drones to go and pick up the items for me. I don't mind the grind of hand mining, but right now I'm really missing the auto ore pickup. Yeah, Roy, that's another thing you're going to want to do. There are a lot of quality of life mods out there that just make things a little bit less grindy. And once you get used to the gameplay, you might want to look into those. Something like the auto ore pickup is beautiful. And then there's another one called out there, production quotas. That's a lot. That's a very helpful thing. The drop pod is what I'm driving right now.
Inventory full.
That is, I usually start out making my rover into a vehicle because it's easier than trying to get cobalt to give it a good amount of thrust in all directions to be able to fly it. So I turn it into a rover. I leave the thrusters in place. Oh, really?
Inventory full.
Xbox has auto ore pickup built in. You lucky. Now I'm a little jealous. Well, I don't have the option to do auto ore pickup, unfortunately.
Inventory full.
Hopefully I have some stone in my inventory so I can come back down for that last little bit. Yeah, I think I can get the rest of it. And then we'll head back to base again. I disagree, Roy. I don't know a game that is better on console than it is on PC. I'm yet to see one. If there is one that is better on console than it is on PC, it's usually because you're playing with a controller, and I can get a controller from my PC. Had to take a drink of my coffee because coffee is important. Coffee's really important. Honestly, I think the Xbox is a really good, solid console. Or at least it used to be. I don't know about the newest series of Xbox. The original Xbox, that was where it was at. That was a lot of fun. There were a lot of really good games on it. Coffee's not just life. Coffee is a gift from God. Really should have my headlights on. Oh, I missed. Well, I think that's a problem with a lot of consoles. They just don't worry about the games running right. 2 pots? You're a lightweight. Gotta up your game there, Roy. I've heard the Game Pass is really nice. Your doctor told you to cut down on coffee. I think it's time for a new doctor. Obviously, he doesn't care about the health of those around you. Alright, I don't know why I got out of my cockpit. Alright, let's unsquat the truck. So, I just learned this the other day. I didn't know that you could do this. There is a jump feature on vehicles that I didn't know existed until a couple of days ago. A friend of mine likes to use it all the time, and I was just like, how are you doing that? I thought it was something that he programmed into the strength. Yeah. So you press and hold X and then release it, and it uses the struts on the wheels to jump you in the air. Oh. you know, all my friends ride a low rider. That is how the song goes, right? Lowriders are bad in this game, so you won't catch me riding a lowrider in the game. Unless I'm on ice and ice alone.
Inventory full.
I don't think that counts as a lowrider. Now, if you were to put it on 38s, you might be able to call that a lowrider. Or I guess if they're low profile 44s, that might count. But if you've got your Jeep on low profile tires, is it really even a Jeep?
Inventory full.
Oh, my daughter's calling me. I'm going to mute myself real quick and take this call. Alright, sorry about that. A mudbuster. Ah. You know, I've never even heard that phrase. And I grew up down the road from a mudding hole that actually hosted Bigfoot. That's like their big claim to fame.
Inventory full.
There's some wild parties down there too. I have my girlfriend commenting in my ear. It's interesting. Why are you sorry, Roy? I enjoyed growing up a redneck. It was a lot of fun.
Inventory full.
And also, thank you for the sub, Roy. I just got a notification that you subscribed to me. It's the first time I've gotten that notification in stream. Oh yeah, I'm sorry that I grew up too.
Inventory full.
Bigfoot was a good mud truck. I'm sorry that they don't really do the mud pit stuff as much as they used to. But I used to love doing I used to love watching the monster truck stuff, and I used to love watching the mudding stuff. Ooh, that'd be fun. The only thing we ever did with our Jeep was a little bit of mudding. We never did any rock climbing or hill climbing with it. I did used to free climb. There's no chance that I could ever do that again. But I did used to free climb. That's the most rock climbing I did. I've never taken a truck up a mountain, but I've also never taken a rope up a mountain, so I think it all rounds out, right?
Inventory full.
Man.
Inventory full.
That would be fun. I would like the mountain racing. I've seen a little bit of the hill climb stuff, but never tried any of the hill climb. Your old Jeep broke? Oh, I'm sorry.
Inventory full.
But that's what Jeeps do, they break. If it broke beyond repair, that's amazing, and we probably had a lot of fun getting it to that point. Yeah, I can't do it anymore either, Roy. Although I will admit, I have not taken the same beating as you have if you were a professional wrestler. That is a harsh career.
Inventory full. Inventory full.
So yes, you had fun getting it to that point. And yes, just Jeep and Honda. If you broke it, you really had fun getting there.
Inventory full.
Well, that's the end of that. I don't think I'll be back down for that. Oh, it'll be here when I get back, though, so we'll take the run back up to the base. Starting to get light out. You know, honestly, I've never built a tank. Tanks are a pain to build. Getting all those wheels to work together properly is just really hard to do. And I'm usually more of a practical builder. And in Space Engineers, there's really not much practical use for a tank unless you're playing on a PvP server. For starters, you only want one set of wheels to turn. That's the biggest one. Okay. The first and foremost, the tank question. I love tanks, but I've never actually tried to build one in Space Engineers because getting the wheels to work properly is a pain. Well, I tried. That's how I know it's a pain. So I don't plan on building one. Wheel settings, let me drop my wheels down and get connected up here, and I'll go over them with you. Alright, so for wheel settings, there's a few things in there that you need to worry about. And I think I go over this in, I think I do it in my last video that I put up in the Survival Guide series. You need to worry about a couple of things. Your power, that's going to supply propulsion. Your strength, which is going to be how much strength is in the shocks. You want this to be as low as possible if you want to avoid rollovers, and if you want the terrain to not bounce you everywhere. You're going to think of it just like if you're doing an off-road vehicle where you're going to be doing a lot of off-road driving. You don't want something with rigid shocks. You want something that's going to give and bounce and go with the flow while your car stays level. So you want that strength to be as low as possible while still maintaining your ride height. The height offset, normally you're going to want that as high offset as you can get it. At least in this game. And that's because otherwise your lower body or your wheels will wind up hitting the ground too much and you'll get a lot of hurt. Friction, again, you're going to want this as low as you can possibly get it while still getting the traction you need. I've got mine at 50% because I had to do some steep climbing with this, and it needed to be 50% to get me up the hills. But the more the wheels grab, the more likely you are for the physics of this engine, of this game engine, to grab your car and turn you sideways or roll you over. So friction, you're going to want that as low as possible while having it strong enough to do what you need to do. So if you're able to drive with it at 15% and drive well, do it at 15. You want to be able to get a little bit of drift out of your car. Speed limit, you're going to have to set that based on the vehicle you're driving. I know that with the speed limit of 180, it still drives a bit too fast where things get hairy. But not so fast that it shoots me up into the air and busts up my car. And I'm sorry, my dog is going to bark, so I'll be right back. My daughter just got here with some of her friends and her boyfriend, so as soon as the dog's done barking, I will be back on stream. There's still one person coming in, and the dog will start barking when they do. You are 100%. I need a bigger dog. Uh, he's a Chiweenie, which means if you want to know what a Chiweenie is, picture the cutest character traits of a Chihuahua and a Dachshund. That's him. That's how he looks. Now, think of the absolute worst character traits you can imagine for both breeds, and that's him as well. Case in point. So, I think I'm back. I think he's done barking. Everybody has gone upstairs. And he's going to follow them. Good. Um yeah, he's got the best physical traits of both of those breeds as far as cuteness, and the worst character traits of both breeds. He's fun, and he's too cute to punt. And my girlfriend just goes, "I'll do it." Oh, that's hilarious. So anyways, yeah, the wheel settings, they're actually not too hard to get set properly. If you just try to set it for the bare minimum of all the powers you need. Because if you set it too high, you're either going to take off too quick and you're going to kind of spin out and go sideways. Kind of like you've seen a car when they hit their gas on takeoff, the rear end slides sideways. Well, that actually takes a lot of skill to control that. And it takes a really responsive steering to be able to control that and keep you in the straight. So you don't want too much strength. The height offset, you kind of want that as high as you can get because ground clearance is key. This is all off-road. You're not driving on pavement. You're not driving on blacktop. Hugging the ground is not your friend. Same thing with friction. If you're driving off-road, being able to drift is critical. So you don't want the friction too high because you won't be able to drift it. So yeah, set all of these as low as you can feasibly get and still function. The only reason why my friction was brought up is because I needed it. And the only reason the strength was brought up was because of the size of my load was bottoming out my car. So I had to bring the strength up a bit. Power was brought up so I could climb things. Yeah, it's... And then set your speed limit, because speed kills in real life and in game. And granted, in real life you can control it and get it under control and have a lot of fun. But in this game, when you've got A and D to control your steering, you don't actually have a wheel where you can finesse where you're turning and get it right where it needs to be. That's just not feasible. Alright, now let's look at the inventory. I need to get all of this over here. And it already took all the iron. Perfect. Alright, and now I need to shoot a wolf. No problem. I'm happy to help when I can. Honestly, right now this is going to be my base. It's kind of a beginner setup, and this is more than what I have in my latest video. This has got spoilers for the video in it. It's just going to be a small base, and I don't know if you can see my mouse. No, you can't see my mouse. Alright, I'll give you the tour. This will be the main entrance, main lobby of the area. Over here will be the factory setup. And in here, this will be medbay and cryo chamber. This will be a small living quarters, bedroom or den. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just a tiny little thing. Yes, YouTube seems to be fixed, Silver Dragon. And, you know, little access for the piping down below. So this is basically my setup. I'll be expanding out the wind turbine because I will need more power than this sooner rather than later. At least double that, maybe more. Because I don't want to put power modules on there. I'm probably going to wind up putting output modules and speed modules. Wait, did YouTube break again? And I wasn't aware of it? Ah, YouTube. I don't know what to say to that. I can't help that YouTube sometimes just breaks. Uh, I'm glad it hasn't broken again yet. And Roy, this is a small base. I'm trying to go small because this is my survival guide series. I don't want to... Or sorry, Black Star. This is a small base. I'm trying to go small with it, and I'm trying to actually go through the steps of playing the game. Because not everybody wants to just build a ship, get to space, and go wreck stuff up. We may eventually get there, but I'm trying to focus on the vanilla game mechanics and the vanilla gameplay, because some people just really like that. And if you're new to Space Engineers, the best thing you can do is play vanilla and just look at maybe some quality of life mods, and that's it. Get used to that gameplay, enjoy that gameplay, and then move on. Bring my height offset back. Get more iron. Okay, Roy, I am an engineer. I'm an engineer by trade, a design engineer by trade. Let me specify that because an engineer um, requires a master's or bachelor's. A design engineer does not. A product engineer does not always require that either. I was a product engineer and a design engineer, and I was the design team lead because they refused to give me the manager title. So they made a new position called design team lead and gave me all the manager roles because the director of engineering didn't like that I was doing product engineering work and designing and leading a team and training people with just a 2-year degree. So he denied me that title.
Inventory
But
full.
yeah, I built the design department there. I made sure everybody was cross-trained in CATIA and NX. Hardware. Automotive. Ah, I have done IT work. One of my jobs in high school was IT guy, and that was Windows 3.1 era. I kind of keep up with some of it, but mostly I don't really follow it unless it's gaming hardware related.
Inventory full.
Unfortunately, right now I do nothing for a living. I work in automotive, and the automotive industry is downsizing right now.
Inventory full.
So, yeah, I was caught in that. Nobody's hiring. Eh, it is what it is. I'm actually thinking about getting away from automotive for a little while. Build servers all day. That does not sound like the funnest time in the world because mainly because of customers. People think it's black magic and you can just make it work. And they really don't want to fork out the cash when it's requiring new hardware.
Inventory full.
Well, unless you had nothing to do with the sales side of it, then that could be actually somewhat enjoyable. Get the parts, build the machine.
Inventory full. Inventory full.
Ah, so you had the cushy job where you got to pick the ones you liked. Nice. Oh, well, diesel mechanic is tough. My son just actually finished school, got his certifications as a mechanic.
Inventory full.
30 years is a long time to put into any career. The only way I'm going to actually be able to retire, I'm still looking for a job. The only way I'm going to actually be able to retire is if I start doing YouTube full time and people actually watch me, and enough for me to become famous like Splitsy. And I don't know if that's going to happen. And honestly, I'm not in this for the money. I don't think there's going to be any money in YouTube for me.
Inventory full.
I do this because I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. I'm playing my video games. I'm chatting with people. What could be better? It's just, it's not that it's hard to get YouTube going. It's just, if I were to pick a video game with more of a, or that's less of a niche video game. The Space Engineers community, there's a lot of players, but there's not a whole lot of people who go out and watch YouTube videos on it.
Inventory full.
Yeah, I'm just not expecting to make any money at it. I'm having fun. It's a hobby. I mean, don't get me wrong, if YouTube decides that I'm popular enough and big enough and they want to throw cash at me, I'll take it. I won't say no to YouTube money.
Inventory full.
I just don't think it's reasonable to expect to make it a career. At least not for me. I mean, not to be disparaging to anybody who wants to watch my streams. I enjoy every viewer, and I'm very happy that you're here. I just don't think that I'm gonna get famous unless I somehow take 20 years off my age, convert all the muscle or all the fat to muscle, and somehow change genders so I can wear something low cut. But you know, I just don't think I've got the that kind of gravitas that I could make it a career. I mean, I would love to be proven wrong. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just not. I'm not aspiring to become a big famous YouTuber, and crap, it doesn't want to turn. Oh, you might have more than me, but I don't know. No, no. Who said high school? I meant just after high school graduation. No, I've told people in the past you couldn't pay me to go back to high school, and I mean it. Of all the bad jobs I've ever had, that was the worst. Some people say that they absolutely loved high school and it was the best time of their life, and to them I say, good for you. That was not my experience. Emptied my cargo. How am I looking for iron? $28K. Looks like I'm probably going to have a little over 30K. Yeah, my son just got done with the 2-year trade school for automotive, got his certification, and he just started as a porter at a dealership. Because, you know, that's how you start. You get one of the small-time jobs, and then they start throwing actual work at you before they can bump you into a mechanic spot. So, he's excited. And he's actually hoping that they will be able to get him to just be an oil change specialist before too long. Because that'd still at least be something inside of the career and something that he would be actually happy to have on his resume as, you know, I was working on cars. It's a start. I think he's going to do well even if the mechanic stuff doesn't pan out because he's a really hard worker with a good head on his shoulders. He was working at a hobby shop and he became a manager there in less than 3 months because he just learned everything he could and was really good with customers and really good at resolving things with the other staff. So they gave him a promotion, upped his pay, and that was what he did while he was going to school to become a mechanic. Now I can't get him to quit buying RC components and trashing RC components. Which is fine. I'm good with that. It's better that he's doing it with RCs rather than what I did in high school, which was actual cars. Actual cars are more expensive to repair. I need more coffee, and I'm going to smoke a cigarette too, so I'm going to switch you over to my headset while I get some coffee. That way I can respond to chat. I don't have anybody to bring me drinks. I'm not making enough money to hire a maid. Roy, I see no problem with buying more servers. I used to do that, and then I had kids. And they cost money. At least with one of them. I got it right once. No, I got it right each time. I got 3 wonderful kids. I love them all. And I shouldn't call them kids because I'm sure that they would be offended to be called a kid. Even though they will always be children to me. Not just children, my children. Have to specify that. Oh, you guys are out here. I'm still streaming, by the way. And they can hear me right now. Yes, you have to watch your language. I don't think YouTube's going to care if you say the P-O-O-P word. Really? These are my children. Speaking of kids, these are my children.
was it? I heard you. I heard you. Yeah, literally.
I messed up 3 times.
Yeah.
I got all 3 of my kids wrong, huh?
Yeah.
This is from my kid.
I'm being fed batteries, sir.
What?
I'm on lithium. Fed batteries.
Go inside. Go inside. Oh, you're heading out?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I hope you have fun at your friend's house. Oh, I wish I had a car that was easy to work on. But when I say easy to work on, I'm talking about like 1980s or older, easy to work on. When you could crawl into the engine bay of a sedan to get out of the rain. That was beautiful. I miss that. And I don't want to have a couple more. I love my kids. Kids are a blessing. All of mine were surprise blessings, but they were blessings nonetheless. And I love them. I love them dearly. I don't want any more.
Simplification will devils.
I didn't say. Don't put words in my mouth.
Slick.
It's not a matter of paying to have another kid. It's a matter of I'm in my mid-40s. I don't really want to start a 20-year journey. I'll start that 20-year journey when they're grandbabies, which hopefully isn't going to happen too soon until my kids are financially stable. Yes, I loved carbureted engines. They were a lot of fun. You could tweak and just tinker with things and mess with little tweaks. Well, I just said I'm unemployed, so I can't buy your old car. Sure, I'll take a hug. I'll always take hugs. All right, love you.
Love you too. We'll see you later. Good luck with the stream, man.
Thank you. Well, I don't want to buy your kid either, so I didn't really think that's what you were talking about. And if I had a good job, I might be interested in buying an old car. Well, to be fair, my current car is an old car. It's a 2011 Chevy Impala. And it's actually really not too bad to work on, other than the fact that everything's aluminum with metal, with steel bolts. So everything is impact at least to loosen the bolts and sometimes a torch, because salt does not help with the oxidizing there. Oh, that must be a really nice old car. $65,000 for a car. Should be, does that come with a new engine? Sorry for the break in stream. I decided to smoke a cigarette. That's how you got to meet my children somewhat. If I had the money for a Model T, I would buy it in a heartbeat. I got a buddy of mine. He's just turned 70. He tells me how much fun it was to drive it around. So I would be calling up that buddy of mine, and I'd be like, "Hey, I got a project car to bring over to your house," And then suddenly my YouTube content would switch from gaming to restoring a Model T with my buddy in his garage and his machine shop. Because that would be a blast. Speaking of gaming,
I'm back. And let's go get some iron. Let's first make sure there's no wolves here. No wolves. Let's go get some iron. Thank you. Y'all make more money than I do.
Inventory full.
No, my first car. Oh, figures. Grab that in a minute. There we go. And I lost him in the grass. There he is. Collapsible steering columns are nice. Well, congratulations. Seriously. That is not a congratulations that was meant to be taken sarcastically. I wish I had some of the opportunities to get into some of the
Inventory full.
early investor stocks that I had the option to get into. I had an option to be an angel investor in Vonage when Vonage went public the first time, and I passed on it. I've been kicking myself ever since.
Inventory full.
I think Vonage is actually gone now. Come to think of it. Wouldn't have mattered for me though, because I would have just I would have sold it by now anyways.
Inventory full.
Ooh. He must be sitting real pretty then. Yeah. Buying stock for Walmart when they first opened. That would have been retirement.
Inventory full.
gave it to his kids? That's a heck of a gift. Hope his kids appreciated it.
Inventory full.
Yeah, I can understand that. Really, it's full already? No way. Yeah, it's full already. Jeez. Time flies, I guess. Alright. Guess I'm heading back to the base again. They were a voice over IP phone service. They were one of the originals. I think they were the first big name one. And they started off privately owned. And they, when they went public, they gave their customers the option to buy shares at a discount before it went public. And I passed on that because, you know, I had 3 small children that were not very old, still in diapers. 2 of them were still in diapers. And I just didn't think it was going to actually be as big as it turned out to be. But if I had actually bought it, I would be retired right now. Well, I wouldn't be retired per se. Then you're... Wow, that's a lot of money. Well, I mean, if you're sitting on that kind of stock and you're looking for somebody to gift it to, I mean, I'll take it. I'll take that right off your hands, no worries. Well, hopefully that pans out for you. I think it was those that filled me up so quickly. I really hate that look on a vehicle. How's my battery doing anyways? You know, I'm actually going to go over that explanation when I do my video. But basically, the ramp allows for wolves to get up onto my platform here. And if I were to put a ramp over here, I'd also have to build the fencing over here to keep them out. And I don't want to build all that much fencing because these are expensive. They take a lot of resources to build, and I would have to put a whole line of them down here as well as here to be able to keep the wolves off my platform, which is just a lot of resources I don't have right now. Hence, I'm doing a mining stream. And yes, a ramp with a welder to kill them would be very handy. But you have to remember this is a survival guide for new players. And it takes a lot of resources and know-how to be able to build most of this stuff. Yes, wolves are... This game that I'm playing right now is completely vanilla. There is... Nothing you're seeing here is not vanilla. In fact, you're not even seeing any of the DLC content. I am avoiding using any DLC items. I've paid for all of the DLC. I have them available to me. But I'm trying to avoid DLC items during this guide series because most people watching a guide series, they're not going to be seasoned veterans who have bought all the DLCs because they love the game. They're going to be new players who are only going to see the standard refinery, the standard assembler, the standard batteries. The wolf? You've never seen the wolf? Oh, yeah, actually. Here, 1 second. Exit to main menu. Yes, save. If you start a new game, go to custom games. I usually do Star System. It's in the advanced properties. If you come down here, you've got enable progression, you've got enable subgrid damage or not, and then you've got wolves and spiders. Exactly. So enable wolves and spiders. If you click those on, you'll start to see them. The wolves and spiders will show up in your world, and they add some NPCs that you can interact with. The wolves, killing the wolves will actually increase your reputation with the pirates. Yeah, there's a lot of extra settings in here. And let's see. There's actually a very hardcore permanent death setting too. You can turn on in-game scripting, which is another thing I'm actually trying to avoid in this survival guide. I might hit on some scripting, but most players aren't going to want to have to mess with a programmable block, and some of them are going to be playing on... They're going to be new players who wanted to join a server, and they won't have scripting available. Yes, Joe West, you're 100% correct. I'm going to build something like that. But for now, that the connector was put there with when there was no platform in place, and it was just barely able to connect to my vehicle. It was supposed to be just a temporary thing that I was going to show how to correct later on in the video that I'm editing right now. And here, I'll continue my game and I'll show you the starter base I had. Yes, it is advantageous because you can actually get uranium and platinum, things you can't get except for out in outer space. Yeah, so resources you can't get unless you're in outer space. You can buy them at some of the trading stations if you take advantage of the economy system. And I need to slow down and adjust my ride height because I'm dragging my wheels on the ground. Exactly. So, exactly, they can tank a server when you're doing scripts. Thank you for pointing that out, Toxic. The hinges for connecting the vehicle. I'm going to drive out to my original starter base on this lake. It was just a temporary setup to get things rolling and go out and find a permanent base. I needed to repair my vehicle and get started, and I needed something. And nope, it's not a dead pixel. I thought I had a dead pixel in my screen. It scared me. Yeah, if I come out over this way, you'll see my starter base, and I'll show you the setup I was using for the connector to get it to the right height. And I'm going to probably mimic that where I'm at. A piston works pretty good, but I prefer 2 hinges and a double bent tube to adjust the height. You change the rotation of the, a rotor and 2 bent tubes. You change the angle of the rotor and it adjusts the height of the connector for you. And then you just lock the rotor at the height you need. I just can't go over, say, 30 kilometers per hour, or 30 meters per second in this vehicle, or it gets squirrely. I did mention that. I did mention that you need to watch your max speed. And yes, you can mine through the ice, and if you mine through the ice, you get down to the dirt, because there is no liquid water in this game. There's a mod that adds liquid water, but it has issues. It's not really adding liquid water. It's a really good mechanic, and it's fun to play with, but it doesn't add actual real flowing water. It's still an amazing mod, though, because the engine doesn't support it. Cranes are fun. Couple of hinges and some rotors. You can probably get by without the rotors, but the rotors make for really good hinges in an offset sort of way. So yeah, if you can get a rotor set up like this and put a double bent tube on there, if I change the direction, the rotation of that rotor, and you're going to want to use an advanced rotor because it allows items to pass through it. If I turn off the rotor lock and I change the RPM to 0.05, you'll see it's starting to lift up. Which is kind of nice. So if I change this back to 0, you can see that's now a little bit higher. And so that allows you to adjust the height really nice. I was going slow mainly because I didn't want to accidentally turn the slider and spin it around and make it smash into the ground. Yes. Yes, correct. When you're doing your crane, you're going to want to have something to lock it to the ground, otherwise it's just going to tip your vehicle. Toxic is 100% correct there. If you're looking for a playthrough where things like cranes will come in handy, you may want to look into the scrapyard scenario from Splitsy, or you can build your own scenario using the scrap and advanced welding. It makes it so that salvaging blocks actually becomes really necessary. I could take that one and add it to my new base, but because this world is the world that I'm doing my survival guide in, That will be part of the explanation in there, showing what I'm doing. I'm thinking that I'm going to leave that, though, for posterity's sake, because it's a YouTube series. There's actually, Blackstar, if you're looking to build a crane, there are some scripts on the workshop for running a script. Have a good one, Jamie. Thank you for watching. If you can run scripts, there are some scripts on the workshop for cranes, specifically for cranes, to make it easier to control a crane from inside of a cockpit. You may want to look into some of those. I have a Discord. I do not have enough followers to make it something that I want to monitor. So, I haven't shared it yet. Thank you, Blackstar. Let's see, he has one what listed? A script for the crane? It would not surprise me. He's a pretty thorough dude. Yeah, you meant scripts. Oh, I definitely will. It'll be posted on my community tab on YouTube, and it will go into my description on Twitch. Yeah, Splitsy is super knowledgeable in the game, and definitely, if you're not following him, one, I'm surprised, and two, I would recommend it. Splitsy seems to be just a genuine good dude when you see him interacting with people, and he's very knowledgeable in the game.
Inventory full.
And he's very entertaining. I can't think of a better word for it. He's very entertaining in all of his productions. I really like watching him interact with Capek during most of their live streams. Those two are a great duo. Yes, exactly, Toxic. Him and Capek. I think Capek mainly does his streaming on Twitch, though. And I think Splitsy does most of his streaming on YouTube.
Inventory full.
Personally, I stream on both because why not? Restream makes it possible, and it's free to use Restream to stream on two platforms. And I get the joy of having Toxic, Apple 11, and Roy Price and Silver Dragon all talking at the same time from different platforms.
Inventory full.
I was not aware that Splitsy was streaming on Twitch. I will make sure to follow him on Twitch. Okay. I didn't know that. Because I've seen him do lots of live stuff on YouTube. Has he stopped doing the live stuff on YouTube? Have a good one, Roy.
Inventory full. Inventory full.
Oh, who was it that was asking about water? Or digging through the ice. If you're interested in liquid water, you should look what they're doing with the D-Rage 3 engine, which will probably be
Inventory
Space Engineers
full.
2. They are making some really good advancements on their liquid water, fluid dynamics. It's really cool. They're making a lot of progress on it, and it looks like it's going to be an amazing release. But I just can't see them putting this much time and money into that new engine and not asking people to pay them for the new game. I mean, I would love it if they just released it as an update, but yeah, I can't see that.
Inventory full.
And I'll be honest, when they released Space Engineers 2, yeah, when they, well, I've caught the live stuff on YouTube, but when they release Space Engineers 2, I will be first in line to buy it. I'm completely the opposite, Joe. I catch most of my live stuff on YouTube. I don't go to Twitch as often as I should, because it's just not as convenient. I like to, when I'm sitting and working or doing busy work, I will turn on podcasts on YouTube, because you can get stuff like political podcasts and sports commentary podcasts and current event podcasts on YouTube that just don't seem to be as prevalent on Twitch. Kanajashi is awesome. You should definitely watch his stuff. He does some really amazing work. The Garage Gamer is more my play style. He does big builds, big complex builds. He's not afraid of the grind. And that's kind of the way I play. The Garage Gamer, yeah, if you're not following either of those two creators, you should. They both release really, really cool stuff. It's the right kind of mental breakdown, though. It's it's like when you're working on a car and it just doesn't want to be fixed. You struggle, you fight, you throw a few wrenches, and then suddenly it all just works. Kanajashi is very knowledgeable, and he's also not afraid of a very grindy task. I think it was him that created an entire city, and that was one of his seasons, was just he did an entire city build. On the ice lake and through the mountain. Hmm. Thought I got the stuff out of the connector. The heck? Oh, yes. Yes, his... Things go wonky fast in Space Engineers all the time. And there's usually a good reason, if you understand the programming behind it. I have drilled through a mountain. It's just a lot of work. Uh, and I don't think there's any content creator out there who hasn't drilled through a mountain, except for me on live stream. Anyways, yes, it was the Space Elevator series, and his Space Elevator was really cool. I really liked that Space Elevator. I loved the city that the tourist center, I guess, that he built at the top of the elevator. Clang is not a god, he's a demon. Although me and my friends will still sacrifice to him every now and then, one of us will just die. Make sure that nothing else will explode. Let's see, I didn't check. How much iron do I actually have now? Okay. Why is it all in the connector? That's weird. Alright, so I've got 50k iron. That ought to be enough to last me a while. Well, at least through the rest of this episode that I'm preparing. And that was kind of the goal for this, was to get enough iron to be able to finish up what I'm talking about here. Because honestly, you could keep mining for an entire day and not get enough iron to really sustain you. That's a fair point, Blackstar. That's a fair point. I don't think most priests would try, though. Your friend's grid that entices Clang is my grid. I'm getting ready to hop off of here, but before I do that, I will show you the room in my space station on my other playthrough. I didn't mean to hit join game, I meant to hit load game. I entice Clang into my builds quite a bit. Let's see. What? I think episode, that one looks like, yeah, we'll try this one. We'll try this one, and I will show you how I entice Clang into my life. I do like the percentile loading that they just added. That's a nice feature. I am not happy with the text box where it puts the PC icon in front of your name, or the Xbox icon, or whatever it does. I think they should have put those icons in front of the timestamp. Oh, far worse. Um, I was just commenting to my friends a few days ago that I hadn't had Clang visit one of my rotor rich builds in quite some time. And then was it yesterday or 2 days ago? It would have been 2 days ago. I had a rotor just randomly spin 360 and blow up my build. And we both had a good laugh about it. Okay. Yes, a rotor or a piston. Or if you build something like I'm about to show you. I think this is the right build. Ah, yes, good. I am still at my base. And things are loading slowly. All right. This is my factory. Every item in the game is kept on supply for me here. I don't actually produce anything. This room right here. This is the most Clang enticing room you could possibly build. And if you've been playing this game for a while, I don't need to explain why. I have a carpet that is attached to my wall over here. It's all connected to a hinge in the back with cargo access right here. And all of this small grid stuff is built around and inside of these two large block items. This is the most Clang-inducing room I've ever built, and I've had no issues with it. Except for every once in a while you're standing on the rug, you'll slide. What do you think? I like Clang. Clang is my friend. Most of the time. So, yeah, this is the most Clang-inducing thing I've ever built. Oh God, no! No, I would not load that into a build from 10 years ago. That I'm not sure which would blow up first, the build or my computer. Oh man, I actually missed this base, and I've left it behind in this playthrough. But yeah, it's Clang is very manageable now if you know what you're doing. It is the biggest change that made this kind of thing possible was when they fixed the hitboxes on the grids. Oh, I already have blueprints of all this, and I've got several saves of this world even. But I don't have the blueprint because of that room. That room was I got bored. what I have a blueprint of is how this factory works. Because this factory here keeps everything I need on hand and stores one full connector's worth of every item in the game if I get down past the hand tools. Oh, a little further. You see, I've got a full connector of solar cells, and it just keeps them that way. So that whenever I want to build anything between Bob and this factory, it's like I'm building in creative mode. Kind of nice. So, yeah, this is my asteroid base. And if I go to spectator here, speed up the spectator camera here. Not exactly a small base either. It's actually a rather large base. I'm told this is too big of a build and I shouldn't be building this big because I'm inviting problems. Honestly, I don't understand how people can't understand it. But, nah, what do you do? Right. Bob the Builder. So, yeah, I kind of missed this build. I had a lot of fun building this. And I've left it behind and moved on to Mars. That's where Season 3 of this playthrough is going to start. Is dropping down onto Mars with a drop pod and better than basic tools. And that's about it. And then I will work to build a space station in space around Mars that will link up to the satellite relay system that I built about 5 or 6 kilometers out that way. So that's my plan for Season 3. And I started to do it, but I decided I wanted to do a survival guide series, and that took priority. So, unfortunately, on that note, I'm going to have to end it here. I have been streaming for a little over 2 hours. I have all the iron ore I needed. And if anybody has any more questions or comments that they'd like me to read later, you can leave them in the comment section on YouTube, or you can actually hit my Twitter account and message me on Twitter. I'll be happy to respond as best I can. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed yourself half as much as I did. Have a great rest of your night.